G'day folks, how are yous all? It's been a few days since I've put a video up. I've been back at work, flat out, and I've haven't had much time on the car, but I'll just move that a little bit, maybe it might help. I've done a couple of one little job to it, and I'm just wondering if you can pick it out there, guys. It's pretty subtle. I sort of haven't, it's just a little touch. Well, what I've gone and done, guys, I've lowered this a little bit, about an inch, 25mm, and I always thought it was a little bit high, guys. It was just up that little bit, and I fiddled around with it, and I've got another piece I've put in here just to fill that sort of gap in that I've had. I mean, it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but it looks really good now, the stance of it, guys. Like, it's just, we've got around 170 mils now off the ground. Oh, it looks incredible. It really does. It's almost in line with the, well, it's a little bit higher than the sump, but when you look down under it, it looks bloody awesome. I love it. It's fantastic. I'll still be able to load it up fairly easy now that I've got those extra big planks extended out. You know, they'll come up to about here, but it just gives it that little tough stance that I was chasing. Well, I've got the wheels back on it, guys, so I've dropped it back on the ground, but I'm checking for tyres. I've got the rear ones on the front because they're a 265 40 17-inch rim. Okay, the ones I've got locked in that I'm going to buy are a 275 40 17. They're a Hankook Ventus Z214. So if you're interested, just Google it and check them out. These ones here, the diameters of them are 630mm, and these ones, the new ones that I want to get, are 649. So we're a little bit more in the diameter. I've got to do a little bit of modding on the front guard just as it comes down, just as you turn the wheel. It just touches on these ones, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of just chamfer that corner off and give it a little bit more clearance. But as far as clearances in the guard goes, oh, it's a ton of room. It's going to be awesome. I've got heaps of room in the front, and I've got plenty of room in the back. So we're putting on these big ones. We've got the tread width is on them 260mm. We've only got 250mm on these on the ones I've got now. So they're just a little bit more in the diameter, a little bit wider, and what they've got on the tyres, they've only just got two lines around them, like two grooves. That's all they are. They're basically a slick with just two fine grooves running sort of around the circumference of them. No zigzags or anything with it. It's just basically a slick with two grooves. They're a tyre you don't go out in wet conditions. Forget it. They're not a wet weather tyre. Damp conditions, if the track's just slightly damp, they're fine. They will not get rid of water. They're just not designed for it. And at the end of the day, I don't want to race in the rain. Basically, it's a dry track car. So they'll offer unbelievable grip straight off, because I'm going, the code is a C71, so they're a soft tyre. And reports from my fellow circuit racers that run these tyres, that they'll hold up no problems for the 5 or 6 laps that I do. And that's what you want. You want incredible grip, but you don't want to spend too much time trying to warm the tyre up. And if I probably went, say, to a medium, I may even have to do a lap to 2 laps to try and encourage a bit of heat in them. And really, when you're only doing sprints, it's basically, your first corner you want grip. And you don't want to be panicking and trying to, you know, just hold back that little bit, because at the end of the day, you only got 5 or 6 laps to do it. So you really want to get off the start line, come into that first corner fairly quick, and be able to pull up down at the hairpin without even fear of locking up. So the soft tyres are going to offer that straight off the bat. So that'll be fantastic. I can't wait. I was a bit worried, nervous. I didn't think that 275s would fit under the front of it, because if I go back to the next size back is a 245. But the trouble is they go back to, in diameter, 625. So there's basically an inch in difference. If I'd say put 245s on the front and ran the 275s on the back, there's half an inch should be dropped in the front. I don't really want that, so I want to sort of keep it nice and even. And look, at the end of the day, you want as much grip as you can get on all 4 wheels. So I'm going to get away with the 275s. So that's fantastic. Blair, I have rung up that crowd in South Australia. And it's looking like I can get them about $200 cheaper per tyre, so that's fantastic. I'm going to probably get them off that crowd in South Australia. So give me a couple of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, get a little bit of money sort of saved up, and then we're going to go and put the order in and we'll put them on. May do one more little trip down with these tyres as is, just a little test. I'd like to do it in the next couple of weeks. We've got the supercars coming down the week after Easter, and hopefully say the week after the supercars I may even go to Baskerville. I really want to get down for some reason. I want to get down there now. I've got the trailer sorted. Basically the car's as good as it'll ever go for the time being, and I want to get down there and just test the track. I really want to test it. So these old tyres may get one more run. That's okay, that's okay. I've got a couple other little tricks, or one other little trick I want to revisit on the sump underneath. I noticed, guys, that the oil's heating up in it after I've sort of, especially on the private practice days, that last one, I noticed oil pressure dropped off a little bit, not to an unacceptable level at all. It was still fantastic. But it's telling me that the oil's getting fairly warm in it, and I want to sort of try and give it the best chance before I make the decision and go down to a oil cooler. I'm actually going to fin out the sump like I did before, guys. Some called me crazy on it, but it actually really worked. It was really unbelievable. When you come back in, you pull up, and you've sort of just stopped the airflow from underneath the car. Was still happening, you see, from the ambient air and just a bit of a breeze blowing. And the difference I noticed, like coming in when I had it finned out, and then the time half an hour later, it made that much difference. It would pull so much temp out of the oil in the sump because of running those small aluminium strips right around it. We're getting an incredible heat exchange while we were sitting there. So we're going back out on the track with really good oil again, like good viscosity, pulling the temps out of it. And then by the end of the race, you heated it back up basically, and it's, and you do sort of lose around 10 psi overall on the oil pressure. But you pull back in, and you get a chance for that oil to cool down again with your tricks on the sump. And I felt that really worked, it really helped. Whereas without it, it stays warm. You just can't get rid of the heat quick enough. So I'm going to do that trick again. I'll do a video on it and show you guys. I think it worked really well. I was really, actually I only just tried it as an experiment the first time, and yeah, it worked really well. So I want to do that again on this one. Test it again, and just see if I can get away with it, and if not, we'll go to the oil cooler as well. Alright guys, well, I'm bubbling away with it all, just sort of, just taking it easy and not sort of going too crazy with everything at the minute. The boy's still stripping the Hilux down. He's not too far away from pulling the engine out of it actually, and it'll be a good chance for him then to give it a good clean. We're going to, and then the next step will be we'll pull the engine out of the ute, and we'll go from there, guys. It's all happening. All right. Well, just a little update on it all, and we're just doing some fine little tunes to it, and you know, just it bugged me for a little while. This I sort of just wanted to lower that little bit. I don't want to go any lower with it. I think that's low enough. Oh, it looks fantastic when it's outside. Yeah, if the weather's nice, next time I do a little vid, and well, I probably won't be back on the ground, be back up on the stands, but I'll show you next time when I get a chance, and we'll have a good look at it out in the daylight, because it does look really good when it's sitting outside, and it looks fantastic. Sprites me, guys, before I go, the Trans Am series, the American Trans Am, and that's the sort of the theme of the splitter idea. That's sort of where it came from. All right, I'll stop the babbling. We'll catch you later.